Need Pokemon Go PvP coaching? Well, I'm on Metafy, so click the link in my video description, it'll take you right to my page. What's up, guys? Got another exciting team. Honestly, I don't know why this is happening, but everything I've touched just seems to turn to gold this time in Ultra Premier. I'm very not used to this success at all, but before we get into it, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. I could not be doing this without you guys. And fair warning, I will say, there was a lot of lag. Not on my end this time. They announced they're doing server maintenance, so I expected lag to be bad, but in fact it seems like the lag was more on my opponent's side. So there's going to be a couple intermissions here where either my opponent went AFK during the queue or did connect. And I'll talk about some other stuff coming up. And either way, we have not a very familiar team, but all the components are familiar. We've got Venusaur, Shadow Snorlax, and Shadow Magnezone on this team. This is an ABB team. Try and switch out of your lead at least once in each game. Shadow Snorlax will draw out the fighter in the back, and hopefully Magnezone can go ham. Shadow Snorlax should also draw out the Nidoqueen, like it has in this game. And probably the Swampert as well. Not because Swampert is great against Snorlax, but people are kind of trying to sacrifice their Swampert so it doesn't get matched into Venusaur later. So you're going to see a lot of those common switch-ins, and hopefully that will protect Magnezone. Of course, there are a couple core breakers to this team, the main core breaker being Escavalier. Kind of all Pokemon lose to it, but if you have an energy advantage on any of these Pokemon, it's not too hard to take down. Nidoqueen is another core breaker. It's decent against Venusaur. Honestly, it has to shield Frenzy Plants though, so it's not that big of a deal. And Magnezone hits it decently hard with Mirror Shot, at least, and resists those poison jabs. So it does seem like a bit of a core breaker, but it is definitely dealable with. Trevenant is another one here, so you can see in this game, there's both a Trevenant and a Nidoqueen. So you would think that this is a guaranteed loss, but in fact, it's actually still a win. So this team, despite playing against two of its biggest core breakers, the two biggest besides Escavalier, has no problems here. Magnezone obviously doesn't deal so well with Trevenant, neither does Venusaur. Snorlax is okay versus Trevenant, but Snorlax was a matchup against Trevenant. Magnezone was. And Venusaur was the one match against Nidoqueen. So everything does seem to work out. Let's get into these games. Gengar lead. This is obviously not a very good lead. We are going to swap out here, and in comes Obstagoon. So we're trying to get that fighter out of the back. This is not too bad of a matchup for Snorlax. Superpower absolutely has to be shielded, or it does some crazy damage. In this case, I'm going to throw the Superpower, and they don't shield. And from Shadow Snorlax, it almost takes down Obstagoon. You get to that body slam, you can force a shield for sure, but no point for me to shield here. In my opinion, I would much rather get an energy advantage on Venusaur. Even Gengar versus Venusaur is not that great, but we'll see how it goes. In this case, I'm going to throw the Frenzy Plant at the Gengar. They know they can no shield one, but now Venusaur can win the 2 shield if they let one through, so I could just farm down. But I decide to call their bait. It's a Sludge Bomb, which means it doesn't KO. Shadow Ball would KO. And I swap out. So somehow they were saving a Swampert in the back. I am very confused about how this game was played then. If it was indeed a Swampert in the back, you'd think something else would have happened. But if I just stayed in with Venusaur, it would have been a very easy win. Instead, we throw the Wild Charge and get a shield with Mirror Shot there. Going to shield up once on the Venusaur. Obviously, they farmed all the way down, so they're at 2 moves. But getting these Vine Whips through is very clutch. Hopefully, it'll allow me to pick up a win here from a game I definitely shouldn't. But unfortunately, just one hit away from ending this with Frenzy Plants loaded for the Gengar. Yeah, if I just stayed in, I would have won that game, and I guess that's why sometimes you shouldn't switch out. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, but most of the time you should, so I will still keep making that play and still losing those games. In this case, we have Empoleon. Dragonite comes in, so I expected Empoleon double Dragon, but this is a bit of a weird one here. Right? We have Dragonite switching in. Usually it's Kingdra. So in this case, they just get to a Dragon Claw there. There's no way I'm going to shield this because it won't take out Magnezone. I shield the first one because it could have been an Outrage. In this case, I'm going to throw a Wild Charge. They shield. Going to throw another Wild Charge. See if they want to go 2 shields down here against the Magnezone. And they don't. So this is not too bad of a scenario. I'm going to come in with Snorlax and just try and lick this thing all the way down. They throw early because they don't want to get body slammed and lose their energy, so it's just a Dragon Claw. And I should be able to finish licking down this Dragonite. Going to be able to throw a Superpower with good timing at the Empoleon, deal some heavy damage. And we're going to swap to Venusaur. But because it was Dragonite swapped in. I actually thought it might be a Dragalge, and indeed that's what it is. We throw the Sludge Bombs. They do slightly more damage to the Dragalge, right? Because it's only single resisted as opposed to the double resisted Frenzy Plants and Vine Whips. But with the shield advantage, Venusaur actually has a decent shot here. Look how much damage Venusaur does. It's actually kind of crazy. So I'm going to shield the first one because it could be an Outrage. That's my reasoning for shielding everything, it seems. And the second one, going to be an Aqua Tail for sure. And guess what? Aqua Tail is a pretty garbage move. Venusaur, no problem, wins this. It's going to get the Sludge Bomb off. And then I swap to transfer the damage to Snorlax. And in comes Empoleon, and Snorlax just gets to that Body Slam. And while it doesn't take out the Empoleon, Venusaur with a couple more Vine Whips will. So, pretty high battle. Very tough to win that. Honestly, this team has a very good matchup versus Empoleon Double Dragon. With the Kingdraw version at least, which is the more common version. But if you guys see a Best Buddy Dragalge, you might be in some trouble. It's not very common though. Charizard lead, bad lead, right? Let's swap out to Snorlax. Wing Attack Charizard. This is why Magnezone has gone so much better recently. It's because of all these Wing Attack Charizards. So, only saw 4 moves from them because of the lag, but it looks like it was visual because they're throwing a Hydro Cannon already. So I've lost count at this point. In the game I definitely lost count. I'm going to throw 2 superpowers here, trying to weaken this Empoleon. And they spend 2 shields. So this is looking not too bad. At this point, I don't have a very good matchup with Venusaur versus Charizard. So the goal here is not to really shield anything and just take down this Empoleon. I really have to save everything for this Magnezone. And just hope that 2 shields can sweep. Because it can definitely be Charizard with a shield. Just a matter of what's in the back. So once again, we have Trevenant. This is a big core breaker for the team, right? But Magnezone with Mirror Shot and 2 shields. Get the attack drops. Yeah, so Magnezone is different. Sometimes you want to shield the first move just because you can get the attack drop and the resultant moves will deal less. And they just GG out. Just going to be able to just get to a Mirror Shot there with 1 shield and then... Or able to farm down and just unload a Wild Charge of the Charizard, which obviously is a one-shot. Last game of the set, we got a Swampert lead. This is exactly what you want to see. In comes a Alolan Muck. And before even looking at it, obviously your best answer for Alolan Muck is Magnezone for sure. Especially if it is the Poison Jab version. You can let it move through. It's kind of dicey. Sorry about that. It's not COVID, I swear. But if you let them move through, you should be able to farm down. I got a bit scared. Yeah, I guess you can't. Depends on the IVs. But it's the same thing with Kanto Muck. You can let that Dark Pulse through, but the Shadow Dark Pulse you can't. So we're even shields, and they're going to come back in with the Swampert. I know 1 Mud Shot's going to take me out, so I'm going to throw the Mirror Shot right away. See if they shield. They won't. I don't think Swampert players realize how much damage Wild Charge actually does to Swampert. Either. It does quite a bit. So in comes Crobat. Obviously not what you want to see. It makes sense why they're fighting for Switch so hard. But obviously Snorlax, Shadow Ball doesn't deal any damage, so they're just going to be Poison Fang. You definitely don't want to shield the first one. And because I'm a little bit behind on energy here, I know I'm not going to be able to outpace them to moves. They shielded once already. I have to choose whether or not to shield this move. I choose not to. And then I'm going to get to this Body Slam. Deal some heavy damage to this Snorlax. And then Venusaur has to kind of Vine Whip this Crobat all the way down. I don't get my move through. Obviously, no shielding the first one. Just a Poison Fang. Of course, I'm going to take out the Swampert before it gets to a move. And then it's all about just farming down this Crobat with Venusaur. It's kind of close, but with the shield remaining, it's not too bad. Crobat takes a while to get to its moves, despite them being not very powerful. So, despite its fantastic typing, it's not that powerful. We're going to get 4 wins here, 3,200, and there's a lot more to climb here. There's a lot more to climb. I think I'm going to end this in the top 100 on the leaderboard for sure. Oh yeah, so this is lag out number 1, so they never connected or anything like that. So I'm going to take this time to plug. I stop attacking because I'm trying to be considerate, but the fact that Master League Premier Classic is coming out soon. So if you guys want an insight on the new meta, that's something I provide in video form to Patreon supporters and channel membership users. So if you want to click that channel membership button. That's something that you'd be definitely rewarded with, some exclusive videos. And same with Master... sorry, that was Master League. Yeah, same with Patreon. It's just the $5 tier, right? So any support you guys can give obviously helps. Pokemon Go doesn't really pay the bills too well, so we'll see. Yep. Anyways, that was our intermission. It doesn't look like they lagged out because there was no time there. I think they just missed the queue. Anyways, Kanto Muck, Shadow Kanto Muck in the lead. I'm going to swap into Snorlax, and if they don't swap out immediately, just keep licking, because usually Snorlax's energy is much more useful than its fast move damage. So if they're going to swap in late like this into Lapras, I'm going to go for the bait once, because I don't want to... They're storing up energy too. I don't want to get one shot by Surf here until I get to 2 superpowers. So I'm going to throw this first superpower. Then I only have to throw Body Slam on this next one. No reason to weaken myself even further. And win back switch. So they didn't feel like spending a shield and going 2 shields down here. They felt like getting this farm with Kanto Muck would be a little bit more useful. So Kanto Muck obviously able to take down Snorlax here, but Magnezone resists, or double resists, all the poison jabs, and the Dark Pulse, like I said, deals quite a bit of damage, but it's about the same as just a regular Alolan Muck in terms of damage, so pretty comfortable living through that. I probably should have shielded the first one, since now it's just likely they're going to bait me with Thunder Punch. And once again, Thunder Punch, so I decided not to shield that one, but it is a Dark Pulse, so I'm going to come in with Venusaur instead. And this is going to be a bit tricky now, because I played that bait game very poorly. I should have just double shielded, because look at this Gyarados in the back. This would have been an extremely easy win, just farming down and throwing 2 waterfalls, or sorry, wild charges. So I'm going to shield the first one, thinking that it could be a Crunch. But they bait successfully, and unfortunately, they're actually going to reach another Crunch here too. So this game will be very close. Hopefully no defense drop. No defense drop. Oh, rolled the dice there, and Venusaur's able to just take down that Muck. I could have thrown the Frenzy Plant, but I knew they weren't getting to a move anyway, so my next fine move should have just taken them out. So we're going to start this set off with a win. Into the next lead, this is Toxicroak. So Venusaur is your Toxicroak answer. Some people might say it's a core breaker, but honestly, Venusaur does quite well against Toxicroak. Frenzy Plant is just busted. The counters are resisted, and only Sludge Bomb is neutral. So, I mean, like, just look at how much damage that Frenzy Plant does. Venusaur easily wins the 0 shield. So that's what I'm going for here. They end up baiting, so I'm even further ahead than expected, which means I'll get to this Frenzy Plant before they get to their next Sludge Bomb. We'll see if they want to shield. They do. And because they shielded, I will shield. Might as well match. This is a big threat to my backline, so I don't mind my Venusaur going down here, or spending shields on my Venusaur to try and take out this Toxicroak. They get the CMP tie, so in comes Empoleon. I'm going to swap out right away. No shield here. Even though Empoleon is... Snorlax is by far the worst matchup for Empoleon, I swap it in, and they try and call my bait. In comes Lapras, so it looks like Magnezone would have absolutely decimated this backline. It doesn't really matter. I just didn't want to let them get a farm down on my Venusaur, and obviously it's ABB, so you want to be swapping out of your lead at some point in any game if you can. Yeah, Lapras comes in. I'm surprised they didn't come in with Lapras. It'd be easier to farm down the Venusaur at that HP. Either way, gonna come in with the Magnezone and just Spark down. I don't need to shield. There's nothing they can do here. That would KO. So you're going to see how much damage Surf does here. Only about half. Less than half even, so. Going to be able to spark through that lag and pick up yet another win with this team. Magnezone feels pretty strong. Not sold this is the best team for Magnezone, but it hits really hard. And there's, with the lack of Swamperts recently, it seems very strong. Charizard lead. We beat the last one of these, so let's see if we can do it again. We're just going to lick, and wait for this Charizard to throw a move if they stay in. Dragon Claw, of course. And they finally switch, so fantastic. They swap in a debuffing Pokemon like Kingdra. Once I'm already loaded on energy with Snorlax, this is going to allow me to definitely force a shield or win back switch here, because Kingdra is predicated on coming in with even energy, so that's why we didn't throw a Charizard there. They eventually had to switch because they knew that's their only answer, right? I guess the next Body Slam, and they do have to throw, so I'm going to let it through. I was hoping I might live the Octazooka. Unfortunately, I didn't. In this case, going to try and farm all the way down with Venusaur. We'll see what they do. Can't really afford to shield and outrage. Yeah, throw my move. I should have just committed to the farm down. But they just Octazooka anyways. They get scared. So, unfortunately, I get pulled in. I debate not hitting anything at all, but it's too late. I come in with the Magnezone, and here is Venusaur. Gonna throw the Mirror Shot. And this is all you can do. We're just gonna get the attack drops here. So I'm gonna be shielding the first things for sure out of this Venusaur. And the win condition here is building up to a Wild Charge on a Shields Down Charizard, or building up to 2 Wild Charges on 1 Shield Charizard. So we'll see what we have to do here. They're obviously not shielding their Venusaur. I have to save this one. I've already got an attack drop, so I feel comfortable tanking this Frenzy Plant. And farm up a little bit more, throw this Mirror Shot. If they don't shield it, I should be able to race this Charizard to 2 moves. And if not, because it looks like I might not, at the very least, try and switch into my Venusaur to get a Sludge Bomb off. I actually only go for the Frenzy Plant. I really should have went for the Sludge, but it's enough to take out the Charizard anyways. The goal here being either they have to throw their energy from the Charizard onto the Venusaur, or my Magnezone will win CMP. So as long as I get that shield, the game is already over. So that's why I swapped there to Venusaur. They can't really farm down too, so Swampert lead, exactly what I want to see. And this guy's staying in. This is kind of confusing, staying in and throwing Hydro Cannon right away. Unsure this is the play, so we're going to farm up a little bit more. Don't want to lose CMP. I have no idea who wins CMP versus Venusaur, Venusaur versus Swampert, so I'll just throw right away. And I'm going to swap immediately, and it makes sense why they didn't swap out now. They're hiding that Charmer in the back, and swapping into Snorlax is definitely going to draw that out. So anytime you win a lead this hard, like they stay in with Swampert, make sure you're switching out afterwards, regardless of what comes in. It means they're bringing their best Venusaur answer, right? So if you swap, you can get your Venusaur aligned with whatever else that it's obviously very good against in the back. In this case, they let the Sylveon go down in the Zero Shield. They realize their only chance here is that Alolan Muck actually just beats this whole team. But unfortunately for them, that is not the case. And in fact, Snorlax has done quite a bit of damage to this Muck. Magnezone only needs to hit Mirror Shots here in the 2 shield. But I'm going to come in with the Venusaur first to just soak up some energy. Give my Magnezone the best bet here. Sludge Wave. Respect the Sludge Wave and not running Acid Spray. But yeah, Magnezone should be able to very cleanly take down Muck. They actually don't shield. I think they're just trying to let the game end. Oh, they're actually running Acid Spray. Yeah, so they reveal their full moveset to me. Kind of funny. They are running Acid Spray and Sludge Wave. So they're a Alolan Muck running a pure poison moveset. Very spicy. I think once the Acid Spray comes out, people won't expect the Sludge Wave. But either way, that's a 5-0. We're going to hop all the way up to 33.55. So that's a new personal best for me on this season, at least. And probably a personal best for me all time in Ultra League. I don't normally have this level of success, but something is working this time. Lapras versus Venusaur. This is an interesting lead. Normally, I don't like staying in and taking these super effective Ice Shards, but you can almost always force a shield with Venusaur, and then I don't mind trying to catch and move. They have Ice Beam or something like that. But they wait anyways. They throw Surfs. It's fine. They're very efficient with their damage here, so they're going to get another Surf off. Kind of hoping they switch out, of course, but they don't. Charge up a little bit, and I miscalculate. So, I'm gonna have to shield and charge up even more. I really don't like shielding Snorlax generally, because you want those shields for Magnezone or Venusaur. But I had too much energy. Misplay by me forces me to spend shields. In this case, out comes the Togekiss. And this is great because Snorlax is the only Pokemon remaining that I can take down. It's already debuffed. So I have many choices to come in with here. Come in with the Magnezone, and they come with Crobat, so great that they bring it in. I mean, I'm going to shield here, but it's very unlikely that was a Shadow Ball, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just building up a bunch, try and get to 2 Wild Charges. They let the Crobat go down, and then instead of swapping out, I take these Charms. And for some reason, I misclick my move, and for some reason my Magnezone takes like a ton of damage. So instead, my Venusaur now has to win an aerial or live an aerial ace, which it does. But yeah, this game was much closer than it should have been. My Magnezone should have just got its second move off. I don't know if I missed the button or I had a brain fart or what's going on, but there's no reason for me to not throw that second Wild Charge right there, or even just a Mirror Shot. in that case, or even swap to Venusaur. Like, that was just cocky play. And cocky play doesn't normally get rewarded. In this case, it does. Okay, so we've got Empoleon in the lead. Might be a double dragon, we'll see. They should not win CMP here. I should get my move in, but I lagged a turn. So unfortunately, I have to I have to make a decision before they do. So thank you, game, for lagging one turn at the beginning. And in comes Kingdra. So yeah, it is Empoleon double dragon. We do have another answer for Empoleon, right? So as long as we deal with this Kingdra, Shadow Magnezone should be able to sweep the back line. So once this Kingdra comes back in, Snorlax tanks whatever from Kingdra. Sure, it's an outrage, but this allows me to lick the Kingdra all the way down. If they come in with the Empoleon, I can superpowered. If they come in with the Dragonite, I can body slam it. So either way, lots of Snorlax can do here. They actually build their last shield, and this allows Magnezone to very comfortably come in and just build up to 2 wild charges and sweep. So yeah, versus the standard Empoleon double dragon, this team has very, very good play. So if you're seeing a lot of that, then that's great. And just build up to before they have a move. I don't want to have to shield this Dragonite again. We're going to save the shield for next game. That's a one-shot, and then obviously this is going to be a one-shot as well. Have to respect the wild charge from Shadow Magnezone, and Empoleon Double Dragon has 3 Pokemon that kind of lose to Magnezone. Even without baits, just go straight for your move. You win against all 3. So, although you can't beat all 3 just with the heavy fast move damage, so you do need someone to take out at least one of them for Shadow Magnezone. Incoming Charizard lead, so we've seen a lot of these and have generally been pretty good at dealing with them. In this case, it would be very nice to win switch, but obviously you can't go shields down to try and do that. So it's tough. The more shields we spend, the better Swampert does in this matchup. So the goal here is to play the no shield and just grab switch advantage out of here. They have to shield this or let their swamp go down. And they shield, so shield advantage gained. Venusaur has a little bit of a farm it can get here. And obviously the health on Venusaur is not important because it's locked into Charizard anyways. It'd be nice to get a little bit more farm. So maybe I should have stopped attacking with Snorlax, but I was scared they'd stop attacking as well. Charizard's obviously going to come in and once again swing attack, and there we go. You love to see Gyarados in the back. I know this is an Aqua Tail. They did not build up to the crunch, but I'm going to shield anyways because it looks like I can just double shield my Magnezone and farm down without taking any damage. It's a Dragon Tail Gyarados, not Waterfall. I'm going to shield that one as well. And then 2 wild charges are already ready to go. As long as there isn't some sort of crazy amount of lag, these wild charges are going to get off and we should be able to take down this Charizard. So ABB working out perfectly. That's Charizard double water. And we drew out the Swampert there instead of the Gyarados on the Snorlax. So, like I said, lots of Swamperts will come out on your Snorlax. It's a thing. They can spend shields to win that matchup. Scaffo, ooh, yeah, 30. I don't know if you guys noticed his rating, but 3450. He's definitely front page of the leaderboard. We got a Poliwrath lead here into Snorlax, and the Snorlax switch-in is kind of tough, even though Poliwrath is a pretty good lead for me. I kind of want the Venusaur on it, as opposed to the Magnezone, just because of its fighting type. We're going to catch a Body Slam on our own Snorlax, and at this point, unfortunately, I do have to shield. Unless, oh no, actually, I don't need to shield. But they can technically win switch here by spending shields. Although, that would be nice for me. Just because Magnezone might be able to just sweep the whole thing. If I remember correctly, they have a Core Breaker in the back for this whole thing. In comes Poliwrath, just getting the best farm of its entire life here. That's a lot of Ice Punches. And so the Cold Shoulder is going to be showing us the Cold Fist. And going to come in with Venusaur. Obviously can't shield anything, but I don't think this one has Ice Punch, actually. Scald comes out. Yeah, it doesn't deal very much damage. And in comes Nidoqueen. So I realize I am in a lot of trouble here. Going to throw the Frenzy Plant, which is, of course, going to get shielded. And I have to swap out to Magnezone. Going to go for the Mirror Shot, so obviously it's our best play. I probably should have built up to Flash Cannon to start forcing some shields, but honestly it does not matter at this point. Yeah, I'm going to shield the first one. Yeah, and calling this bait would have been the game, but unfortunately, you make a 50-50, and you get it wrong sometimes, half the time about. So, I'm going to get it wrong this time, but we'll shield up this one, which is, we get it right, so 50-50. And they make a fantastic catch on Mirror Shot. I shouldn't be throwing my moves right away. and going to try and catch a move on Venusaur. So we're both catching moves. This is actually a pretty hype game. Scald is not going to take out Venusaur. And I should have left a little bit of HP left on the Poliwrath. I'm going to throw this Mirror Shot, which might KO. It would be close, but they still have a shield. And I have my second Mirror Shot, but we CMP tied, and they're going to get the Earth Power off. So this is about as close of a game as you can possibly imagine. They've got the Nidoqueen in the back, which is the Core Breaker, but it was still very close. Yeah, for some reason, this team, I haven't really felt out of it in any of these matches, at least. Poliwrath lead. Another one, this is my redo. In comes Trevenant, and this is kind of a tough situation. Trevenant versus Shadow Snorlax is actually quite good. So they just need to get to 3 Seed Bombs. So for Shadow Snorlax to win, it needs to throw energy, and it needs to shield. So I unfortunately do need to shield here, and I'm counting their moves. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3. It looks like I'm going to have to throw for sure, so I just throw. And then I'll be able to look down after 1 move, but still very unfortunate that I did have to shield there. But they bring in the Lapras, which is great because Snorlax can actually threaten this with some very heavy damage. And this is something Venusaur can come into once it's loaded up, because what threatens Venusaur here is the Ice Shards, not the Surfs. Or the Ice Beam, but at this point Magnezone looks like it can kind of win this with a shield advantage. They get a good farm, but of course we're just gonna go soak that up with Venusaur. Ooh, what am I doing? Ah, I see. I'm leaving my Venusaur for the Poliwrath. In this case, gonna go for the Wild Charge and swap. Okay, I could have played this differently, but this is fine too. And throw this Frenzy Plant. I don't know what they're storing up to. This seems like they had 2 Ice Punches at least. Not that they would KO or anything like that. But yeah, as soon as they let their Poliwrath go down, the rest is history. Venusaur is able to sweep up the rest. A lot of double water teams here, so running Venusaur and Magnezone has been very nice for that. And we're going to get another 4 wins and shoot right into 3,400. So 3,400 is a very nice place to be right now. That should be top 100 on the leaderboards. Oh yeah, and then I forgot to mention, besides Master League Premier Classic, Kanto Cup is returning as well with a couple different Pokemon, so I'll probably do a meta-analysis video on that one as well for Patreon supporters and channel memberships. Channel members? Battlers. But anyways, yeah, that's it for this video. I don't know why Ultra League is working so well for me this time around, but it is, so hopefully you enjoy these teams. If they don't work for you, just blame the meta that you're rating. I'm sorry, I can't provide teams that are working good at every single rating. Seems Ultra League is very meta-dependent because you can't build those perfect teams. Anyways, thanks for watching.